One of the root causes of sexual assault is the misconception of what consent really is. There's a popularly held notion that when a woman says no, she actually means yes. In order to build a safe space for all women and girls, it is important to educate our boys and men on respecting boundaries and seeking consent. Hello, everybody. My name is Halmalani. Welcome to the Men Can End Violence Show. Our topic for today is misconceptions on consent, and our guest is Jill Adeomi, a troublesome friend. Hello, Shil. How are you doing?
Hi, Alim. I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show too.
Oh my God. So So Shil, can you tell us what an average man's perception of consent is?
Okay, so I would like to put it this way. For me, I can't really answer the question using the word average man. I rather want to divide the average man into 3, maybe, or 4 or 5. The first man is the man that doesn't know what consent is. I'll explain what consent is later. The second man is the one that has heard of consent from maybe a friend or from the internet, but doesn't regard consent or whatever consent has to do with whatever consent has to do. The third one is the one that understands consent to an extent and tries as much as possible to play a very positive role when it comes to consent, but still wants to learn more. And the last person is the one that actually knows a lot about consent and is practicing consent. So for an average man in the climb where we are, which is Nigeria, I feel like it's more of number 1 and number 2. Number 2 being the elite and the intellectuals, while number 1 being the average normal people on the street. And it's quite alarming anyway that a lot of people don't know what consent is. But I also feel like in psychology, there's what we know that is called nurture. Nurture is the environment and knowledge that we grasp every day. And in this particular point, or in this particular place where we are, knowledge is actually like there's a knowledge gap when it comes to a lot of things, even consent itself. So I'm not saying I would not blame the men, but then
I was having a conversation with a group of people sometime last week, and we're having a conversation about why a woman should want to stop during or before sex. And I got to realize that the vibe I was getting from them was that they were feeling entitled. I mean, I already have an erection. Why should you want to stop during sex? Like, what rights do you have? And in the real sense, the reality of life is a lot of men do not even respect that. Once a woman says, I need you to stop, they don't stop. They just keep going till they ejaculate and all of that. So what are the key reasons why a woman might want to, stop? A woman might not want sex, or a woman might want to stop during sexual intercourse.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I really like Alima is because as much as possible, she tries to relate everything to suit and make people understand where she's coming from. And I really like the analogy she used. And it's a very common analogy in this part of the world. And you would not blame, or you would not be, be against what Alima is saying, because research has it that a lot of men actually, when it comes to bedroom toxicity, a lot of men actually have a lot of bedroom toxicity compared to women. Do you understand? So she using the analogy and not really talking about women in this regards, it's very valid. And I'd like to first say something that is very important. The fact that consent can change and at any point in time. Women, we have to understand that. We have to accept that. Now, for a lady to stop you during sex or I might already figure out that, but for you that you're not sensitive, you need to ask the question every time. Yeah. So now, in as much as ladies should speak up more, men should also have common sense, because no matter how much a lady speaks about bedroom toxicity, if a man doesn't realize that, okay, you know what, there are actually toxic traits in the bedroom that I need to work on, whether I have noticed that I have these things or whether I should be very aware of this thing, so that in case I see myself doing it. So it's very important that in as much as ladies come out to speak out, men should also have common sense in identifying those toxic traits. Yeah, so that's for men. For women, as much as possible, please speak out. It saves a lot. It saves you of stress. It saves you of mental stress. It saves you of a lot of other things. So just speak out. Either you tell him himself, like, okay, you know what you did is not cool. And if you feel like, okay, this is too much for me to speak to you alone about, you should also speak to respective authorities. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we've been talking about misconceptions on consent, and our guest for today is Oluwaseun Adewale, who has been shedding light on certain toxic values that men portray in the bedroom and how women need to begin to speak up about toxicity in the bedroom. So, Sheo, any last words for men out there who don't acknowledge consent?
Yeah, we men need to understand that anything that we do outside of consent is rape. And trust me, a rape allegation is something that you don't want to be associated with.
Thank you so much, Sheo.
Thank you.
We should totally have our own show.
Cut it.